What's up, Paul from paulavicoli.com here, and I want to ask you a question. Is your problem real? Or are the problems in your life simply an illusion? Okay, and this is something that, I kind of learned a little while ago, but it's changed me, tremendously, and because I realized that all of my problems were simply illusions. Okay, and I'm going to explain that a little bit further. But I want you to think about this for 1 second, okay? Because I think a lot of the times, human beings, we allow a lot of fear, worry, doubts, anxiety to build up around a seemingly significant problem. But the reality is it's an illusion. And let's just say for one instance that, your problems are actually an illusion. How silly would you feel that if your fear and doubts and worries were a direct result of an illusion? You'd feel pretty silly, right? You'd feel like, wow, I'm doing life wrong. But, I think we've all been there. As a human being, I think we have all of these fears and doubts and worries, and, to different varying degrees for different people that are built always around a problem. How do we get rid of these problems? Well, first we have to understand that they are illusions and they only have a perceived value. And as soon as you get rid of that perceived value in the problem ceases to exist because no energy or thought is going into creating the problem, or in this case, prolonging the problem in your life. Okay, I want to give you an example. There were 3 different guys. These 3 different guys, they all have a different perceived value of different problems in their lives. Okay, the first guy, his biggest problem in his life right now, at this very moment, is that he missed his coffee this morning. And because he missed his coffee, he gets in a bad mood. He's not productive at work, and it affects him on an unconscious level. Now, the second guy, he can't afford to pay his bills. And this guy, okay, he's always telling himself, shoot, I'm going to scrape by. I'm going to barely scrape by this month. So guess what? He probably does scrape by this month. And this month, he can barely afford to pay his bills. And that, to him, is a problem. Now, there's another guy who makes $300,000 a year, and he loses $50,000 in a lawsuit. And to him, that's a big problem. Okay? Now, these guys, they all have different problems, but they say one thing, okay? Here's the deal. You determine the size of the man by the size of the problem that gets him down. Now, each of these men have different problems to different varying degrees. But, for the guy that's, that missed his coffee in the morning, you think the guy that can't pay his rent, that's a really big problem for him? Probably not. Okay? A coffee's not a huge deal. He's okay with it. If I miss my coffee, well, I get to go to work and I get to make more money. I can buy 2 coffees tomorrow. Now, for the guy who, lost $30,000 or $50,000 on a deal, okay, do you think a big problem for him is, not being able to afford his bills? Probably not, because he has no perceived value. Okay, and then for the guy who can't, who lost the $50,000, the cup of coffee seems absolutely ridiculous. And at the same time, there's always a guy with a person who doesn't have the same problems as you, right? So there's a person out there who makes $1 million a year that thinks, losing $50,000, yeah, that was a bad little business deal, but, it's not a problem for me. I don't perceive it as a problem. So what's that mean? That means problems have a perceived value. And they only have the value that we allow them to basically we give them in our life. Okay? So to different varying degrees, all problems are simply illusions because they only have the perceived value. If to one person in this world, which, by the way, the law of the universe says the laws all work the same for each and every single one of us, it's not like I get a better life than you because, I'm born at a higher, conscious. And that's not the case, okay? We're all born into this exact same world. We live under the exact same universal laws, okay, that God set over us. I don't get any advantages more than you do, okay? We all abide by these laws. That means that this guy that has, that sees the problem as the coffee, well, that's a really small problem compared to the other guy that doesn't see that as a problem at all. It means it's an illusion. It's not real. Now, let me give you an example, okay? Let's say we're both standing on a train track, and you've never seen a train track before. And I ask you to look as far as the eye can see. What do you see? You're like, well, I see that the train track ends right there at that point where they both converge. That's where the train track ends. But you and I know that's not true. You and I know that's not the case. Another example would be, a sailboat going on, around the ocean, and as far as the eye can see, you start to see the sailboat start to sink and sink and sink into the ocean. Now, if you've never seen the sailboat before, you've never seen the ocean before, okay, you don't exactly know that the earth is a little bit round, and you can only see so far with your eye, okay, you'd be like, wow, that sailboat just sunk. Man, sucks for those people. But you and I know that's not the case, okay, that's not the case at all. The sailboat didn't sink, it's just out of our viewpoint, it's out of our eyesight. So in this case, seeing is not believing. Believing is actually seeing. Whatever you believe to be true, you see. okay? Because you believe that the boat sunk doesn't mean it's real, doesn't mean it actually happened. So whatever you're seeing in your bank account isn't real. Right now, if you see 80 bucks in your bank account, whether it's 80 bucks or 80,000, it's not real. More can always be created. But if you perceive it as a problem, and you give that problem a perceived value, well, then it actually is a problem. But as soon as the moment that you take a problem and you quit giving that problem value, okay, that problem ceases to exist, because no energy or thought are going into the creation of the problem, or in this case, the prolonging of the problem. So the problem is no longer a problem. And at this point in time, you become a bigger person because you're not allowing a smaller problem to get you down. You're starting to follow what I'm saying? And so as soon as I realized this stuff, you guys, it really changed things for me, because of the fact that I understood that my problems are simply an illusion. And guess what? If I grew over a smaller problem, does that mean I can grow over the problems right now? Right now that I'm going through? Yeah, I can grow over them. And that means, 5 years from now, a year from now, a month from now, 2 weeks from now, that if I grow as a person, that problem will no longer have a perceived value in my life, which in this case will create no fear in my life, which won't allow me to be held back. Because fear, doubts, worries, anxieties, they have this certain, destructive force. They have this power to kind of hold you back and keep you complacent, keep you where you're at. That's why I see so many people fail, because they allow these seemingly significant problems to get them down, when if they only realized they were an illusion, they'd feel pretty silly. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you got value. It was something that was, in my heart, and I wanted to share it with you. So anyways, check out my blog, paulievacoli.com, if you want to get more value like this, if you want to watch more videos like this. I know you're absolutely going to love it, and we'll see you guys on another video. Peace.